Hello everyone. Welcome to Roshan Tech. Thank you for being here with me today. Gen AI application. We are living in a moment that future generations will read about in history books. We are standing at the threshold of a new era of intelligence. Day by day, we can watch as artificial intelligence gains capabilities that once seemed like science fiction. We, we see it writing current essays, coding complex software, solving intricate mathematical theorems, and also understanding our natural language with the shocking fluency. It feels like magic, doesn't it? But it isn't magic. It is a reflection of us. Today, I want to share with you about where this technology is going, what it means for us, and why our shared humanity has never been more important. The three horizons of AI to understand our future. We first need to understand exactly what we are dealing with. So let's break down the evaluations of artificial intelligence into three distinct stages. So I think it's better to see three distinct stages one by one. The first stage, narrow AI. The second, artificial general intelligence. And the third one, artificial superintelligence. Right now, we live in the age of narrow AI. So, what do you think about the narrow AI? Okay, let's see that narrow AI is designed to perform a single specific task or a very narrow range of tasks. We can see that it has limited capabilities outside of its programmed domain. So just think about these kind of scenarios. When you play chess against a computer, when Netflix recommends your next favorite movie, or when an image generator creates a stunning piece of digital art, These are the scenarios that come under this narrow AI. Even the incredible large language models we use today, like Gemini, fall into this category. They are the masters of pattern recognitions within their specific domains, we can see, but they do not possess an overarching understanding of the world. The second stage that we can see that artificial general intelligence. So simply AGI. This is the holy grail of computer science, an artificial intelligence system that is equivalent to human intelligence. This artificial general intelligence would have the ability to gather information in one domain and seamlessly transfer that knowledge to an entirely different domain. It could learn, reason, and apply the knowledge to entirely new, unseen problems exactly like you and I would. It wouldn't just be good at text or a math, it would possess a truly adaptable intellect. But let us not forget, we are the blueprint. We can proudly say that we are the blueprint. We humans have possessed these traits: language, complex reasoning, problem solving for hundreds of thousands of years. So, this artificial general intelligence simply the attempt to mirror the brilliance that naturally exists inside our own head. So the third stage, and this is the final stage, is artificial superintelligence. This is an intellect that is vastly smarter than the best human brains in practically every field. We are talking about unimaginable problem solving abilities, profound scientific creativity, and even we can think and suggest advanced social skills. It represents a level of intelligence above, that is above the human baseline. This is exactly where discussions about artificial intelligence safety become critical. Just think about this. If we create a system that is exponentially smarter than its creators, aligning its goals with human survival and flourishing moments, that the most important task in human history. We have to get this right. So, math was meaning with all this talk of super intelligence. It is easy to feel small. It is easy to wonder where do we fit in? To answer these things, we must understand the fundamental difference between human intelligence and artificial intelligence. Humans have meaning. Artificial intelligence has math. Just think about this aspects. When you read a sad story, just think about this one. You are just reading a sad story. You could feel the weight of the words. Your chest tightens. You relate it to your own losses, your own loves. When an artificial intelligence processes that same story, it is simply calculating the statistical probability of which words should come next. If you were to ask an artificial intelligence about its internal life, it would tell you honestly, I don't have any personal experiences or feelings. So, this is the real scenario. Mainly, AI doesn't have a childhood, it doesn't have a physical body, fears, or dreams. But just imagine our human intelligence is deeply tied to our biologically reality, our senses, and our survival instincts. While an artificial intelligence can be programmed to use empathetic language, it cannot truly empathize. You and I can sit in silence with a grieving friend and share our profound, unspoken connections. But just think and imagine an AI, artificial intelligence, cannot. Definitely, it cannot. Consider a human toddler. A toddler can walk into a messy, unfamiliar room, recognize a strange, uniquely shaped chair they have never seen before. And simply sit on it. An artificial intelligence driven robot would require massive amounts of data, training, and processing power just to navigate that same unstructured chaos. We are incredibly beautifully adaptable, and the messy reality of physical world. As I detailed in my previous video, usage of AI tools and various softwares for research. The foundational areas have already been covered in that video. In this video, we will be building directly on that information and expanding upon it further. For those who haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking out my previous video, usage of AI tools and various softwares for research, where I introduced these concepts. Throughout this video, I'm just going to expand on those specific areas with even more information. I think it's better to start with the definitions of artificial intelligence. Yeah, I know you all are very much familiar with the artificial intelligence. As a human, we are we have many capabilities: learning, reasoning, problem solving skills, and also language understanding. I want to share a critical perspective with you today on how we approach technology. As the core message of today's our today's video, this is the core message. Gen AI is the tool. It is not the pedagogy. Same, some might assume that achieving success with generative AI in engineering and computing educations simply requires adopting the most advanced or the sophisticated large language models available. However, I want to emphasize that the technology alone is not what drives educational success. Instead, if we want to truly succeed, we need to focus on what we as educators bring to our table. Our success depends entirely on three foundational human centered pillars: the sophistications of our instructional design, the rigorous definitions of AI literacy, the pedagogical support that empowers our educators. Ultimately, our goal is about reclaiming the pedagogy. We must remember that while AI is a powerful instrument as our disposal, We are the ones who must intentionally design and support the learning experience to make it effective. It is a strategic exploration of generative AI's functional capabilities, institutional implementations pathways, and ethical governance frameworks. It is specially designed, this general AI, Gen AI designed for academic leaders shaping the future of teaching, doing their researchers, and also for the administrations. The human divide. Let's walk through this chart. We have here titled The Human Divide, Misaligned Perceptions and Realities. What we are looking at is a breakdown of how both students and teachers view AI tools. And it splits these viewpoints into two main areas: how they feel about the tools themselves and how they feel about the actual learning process. Let's dive into the student's perspective first. When it comes to the tool, we see that the students absolutely love having a conversational companion. They appreciate that it offers instant idea generations with no ego and no judgment. However, they really had dealing with the hallucinations, misleading suggestions, and unreliable code, especially when trying to do specific tasks with things like Python libraries. When it comes to learning, students really value the support they get with debugging and figuring out logical structures. But it's not all smoothing sailing. They are experiencing massive friction. They are dealing with a heavy cognitive load, getting frustrated, trying to write the right prompts, and feeling a loss of their own critical thinking skills. Now let's flip over to how the teachers see things. When it comes to the tools, teachers are really enthusiastic about the productivity boost, the potential for personalized tutoring, and how easily they can generate content. But on the flip side, we can see they are extremely anxious about academic integrity and plagiarism, and they even feel a lack of preparedness themselves. When it comes to the learning, teachers see a lots of exciting potentials to completely reimagine assessments and create more authentic learning experiences. However, their biggest fear is that students will become over reliant on these tools and also ultimately fail to grasp the fundamental programming concepts they need to know. Their biggest fear is that the students will become over reliant on these kind of tools and they are just fail to get the fundamental programming concepts. In short, we are seeing a really fascinating divide where both groups see incredible benefits but have very different specific anxieties how about how they take these tools are actually impacting education. So let me know if we want to zoom in our any specific part of this matrix. Let's walk through this graphic together. What I'm showing you here the evidence-based roadmap for institutions. You can see it is designed like a classical building where the ultimate goal, the roof, we are trying to hold up is building next generation engineering education. To build this future, we need four strong pillars to support it. Let me break down what each of these pillars means for us. First, we need to mandate AI literacy first. I think it is incredibly important that we treat interacting with the AI as a distinct fundamental 21st century skill. Before we just start integrating AI into our technical coursework, we must actually teach students how to use it. Second, we have to process assignment. We need to stop simply grading the final piece of code or text that a student submits. Instead, we should be evaluating their entire process, grading things like their promptizations loop, their critical reflections, and how they document their AI usage. Third, we must deploy the authoritative environments. Rather than just letting everyone rely on commercial, unconstrained language models, we need to invest in localized AI tools that educators can actually guide and constraints. Finally, our fourth pillar is to fund teacher co-creation. Right now, a lot of our teachers lack the autonomy and self efficacy needed to handle AI. As institutions, we have to make sure we are training our educators on how to deploy AI pedagogically in their classrooms, not just teaching them how to click buttons on a tool. If we can put all four of these foundational pillars in place, I believe we will have exactly what we need to support the future of engineering educations. We stand back and reflect upon what we are actually doing is our scholarly work. Albert Einstein's famous cube comes to mind. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it? As I detailed in my previous video, usage of artificial intelligent tools and various softwares for research, the foundational areas have already been covered. In this video, we will be building directly on that information and expanding upon it further. For those who haven't seen it, I highly recommend checking out my previous video, Usage of AI Tools and Various Softwares for Research, where I introduce these concepts throughout this video. I'm just going to expand on those specific areas with even more information. This Albert Einstein's cubes this spread of explorations is exactly why modern platforms like Notebook LM are so valuable for our research workflow. The sense of the unknown defines the daily reality of scholarship, especially in advanced technical disciplines. Research is fundamentally an act of discovery where each step forward reveals new questions rather than certainties. By employing this framework, we are able to take control of the vast and unstructured nature of academic literature. What is new knowledge? So, research, in a sense, is not just finding facts. Is not just finding facts. It is the process. It is the process of generating new knowledge. This process of generating new knowledge, this means arriving at an original conclusion through systematic investigation. Neil Armstrong's famous cube that research is creating new knowledge. So that defining research is a search for knowledge, and also it is creating new knowledge. Scientific and systematic search for pertinent information on a specific topic. We can see that research is a careful investigations or inquiry, especially through search for new facts in any branch of knowledge. It may be any disciplines, it may be any branch of knowledge. Some people consider that if it is a research, they are just thinking it is as a movement from the from the known to the unknown. It is actually a voyage of discovery. And also, research as an academic activity, it involves a lot of steps such as problem definitions to solve the problem. Research is Research is not just gathering of informations from book and other sources. The transportation of knowledge from one form to another. And also it is a systematic process of collecting, analyzing informations in order to increase our understanding of the phenomenon about which we are concerned or interested. And also, we can say that research is not confined to science, engineering, or technology. The research area covers many disciplines such as history, sociology, linguistics, and so on. Whatever may be the subject, it discovers, interprets, or revises the facts, events, behaviors, and theories. So, the traditional academic research defines new knowledge. It should be the original contributions. And also, it shifting from manual to laboratory. So that week wise, month wise, year wise, we don't want to stay at our lab. So that new knowledge, what is the most expectations for quality researchers like Q1, Q2 journal publications, patent product development, consultancy, technology transfer. The role of Gen AI in modern research. Literature review automations, data analysis, pattern recognitions, predictive modeling. So that here we can see that the thousands of research papers, within a minute we can summarize. The framework, a framework for a human AI collaboration. When we look at this framework, I really like how it redefines the role of AI in research. Instead of worrying about whether AI is going to take over, we can see that it is all about creating a true synergy platform. I feel that the divisions of labor shown here makes perfect sense of our work. We let the AI handle the heavy lifting of data tasks so that we can focus our own energy on creative and the strategic leadership. Let's break down how the two sides complement each other. On the left, we can see AI support taking care of the technical and data tasks like processing high volume data, handling predictive trends analysis, and automating repetitive chores. It is like having a tireless assistant. It is like having a tireless assistant that excels at pattern recognitions at scale. But on the right side, the framework reminds us that the researcher must remain the creative engine. I realize that when we use artificial intelligence to support our work, we are free to focus on the big picture, bringing in creative vision, considering the ethical and global context, decisions making, and tackling complex decisions making. When we put these two together, the core message becomes clear. AI should support research, not replace the researcher. It is about using AI powered tools for advanced analysis and literature searches, while we handle the critical thinking and synthesis. The responsible use of Gen AI, it is the academic integrity. AI assistant is permitted, but AI authorship is plagiarism. So this section for the integrity and the AI assistant is also permitted, and we just need to make sure that policy checking, review institutional guidelines. So now just we are just going to move the stages of research. So in this area, the problem identification, all the scholarly inquiries must originate from precisely articulated challenge or objective, so that we can pinpoint unexplored territories and research voids. In that problem identification, just think about a medical research example. There is a broad inquiry. Can AI help doctors treat heart disease? So we just need to give some more focus on the issue, because here AI help doctors treat heart disease. It is not clear that in which part we need to give the treatments, is being helped at the what kind of technology is going to support for our treatments, and also after the success, how is it going to be measured? The refined research question, so that it should be in a specific and measurable manner. How does a deep learning algorithm improve the accuracy of detecting irregular heartbeats from wearable smartwatch data compared to standard hospital test? So that the question should be in a specific, also it should be in a measurable. The stages of research literature review, I really like how they break down the process of using modern AI instruments to make our work so much more efficient. Instead of getting bogged down by hundreds of disjointed papers, we can now use tools like Google Scholar, Semantic Scholar, and ChatGPT to identify the publications and map out research voids in a fractions of the time. Let's look at how they suggest we use these tools in practice. I find that when we need to synthesize large amount of academical material, letting AI consolidate a large corpus into thematic clusters saves us hours of manual reading. We can then use reference organizers like Sotero to keep everything tidy and well referenced. It feels like we are delegating the heavy lifting of sorting and organizing to the machine, while we retain the analytical power to interpret what those clusters actually mean for our own research. I also feel that understanding these tools helps us become much more effective researchers. By letting the instruments facilitate the research and synthesis, we open up more time to focus on the core arguments and critical insights. When we look at this process, we can see how we turn large amount of informations into something truly meaningful. We start by feeding. We start by raw data into that funnel, which then uses software and AI analysis to filter and process what matters. Instead of getting overwhelmed by the sheer volumes of material, we rely on these tools to recognize patterns and extract the core components. What we get at the bottom are refined insights that we can actually use to drive our research forward. It shows exactly how we can combine technical tools with our own focus to get the best results. And the key point, where the researcher interprets what the numbers actually mean for the real world. Data analysis is a process of collecting, organizing, interpreting, and presenting data to discover useful information and support decision making. When we look at this data analysis framework, we can see exactly how we can connect raw information to actionable research outcomes. The process is all about taking data and transforming it into useful knowledge to support our decisions. We can break this down into two main parts: what our analysis drives in research and how our workflow is enhanced when we bring artificial intelligence into the loop. Let's look at the research side first. We use data analysis to test our hypothesis, identify underlying pattern, draw meaningful conclusions, and make accurate predictions for our project. When we integrate artificial intelligence and machine learning into this workflow, we supercharge our capabilities. That is the main thing that we can say here, we can mention here. We just supercharge our capabilities. We can process large data sets much faster while while we are just depending on the statistical validations and dynamic visualization dashboards to monitor our results in real time. It really shows how our technical tools work together with human oversight. By letting the system handle the data processing and pattern recognitions, we just free up our time to focus on the creative and strategic parts of our own research. Writing and publications. So, research writing and publications are the final stages. These are the final stages of the research process. With the artificial intelligence, the process has become much more faster and more organized and more efficient. Because of AI assisted writing, journal selection, support, reference formatting. We look at this comprehensive research and workflow framework. We can see how we can optimize every single stage of our scholarly journey. The diagram lays out a 5 steps pipeline. 5 steps pipeline that shows exactly how we can integrate specialized artificial intelligence tools into our daily work without losing our human oversight. By breaking the process down into distinct phases, we can easily see how our task transitions from initial discovery to final presentation. Let's break down how we can approach each of the 5 stages in our research. Literature discovery. Instead of depending on the simple keyword searches, we can use semantic mapping platforms like Semantic Scholar, Elicit, and Research Rabbit to find the relevant papers holistically. This allows us to uncover connections in the literature that we might otherwise miss. We can use tools like Notebook LM, Scholarly, and Chat PDF to instantly summarize dense articles, analyze lecture notes, and map out complex citations networks, ensuring we retain the core meaning while saving valuable time. Reference and the citation. Managing reference is critical for our academic integrity. By utilizing Zotero, Mendeley, and Cite AI, we can automate our citations, refresh bibliographies, and maintain high standards of data privacy and security. Writing and grammar, when it comes to drafting our manuscripts and reports, we can ultimately rely on tools like Grammarly, Gilbert Rightful to improve the clarity and reduce errors while making sure the human voice and original ideas remain entirely ours. Data and statistic. Finally, for the heavy lifting of data analysis, we can use tools like Julius AI, NVivo, and SPSS to detect trends automatically and explain complex statistical outputs. While using platforms like Chalky and Gamma to assist in academic teaching and study preparations. It really shows how these tools function as an intentions of our own capabilities. By letting the platform handle the technical and repetitive tasks, we free up our mental bandwidth to focus on the creative vision of our research project. In my next video, I'll be sharing a full guide on Google's Notebook LM. Hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for tuning in today. If you are looking for better ways to organize your notes and research, you will definitely want to stick around. I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much.